Hi, this is Edward Troxel. In today's tutorial we're going to continue on the last one and learn how to pass different parameters to a script. And when we pass the parameters we can then look at each one to see what it is, or we can look to see if any specific parameter is there. We will also learn that Vegas can be called in 4 different methods, which passes some additional information as well, and we will learn how to access that information as well. So let's get started. The first thing we want to do is make one small change to our custom command. We're still going to use the script to call script, and we're going to modify that to accept parameters. In this case, I'm going to pass these parameters right here. What you do is you send a name of a parameter equals and a value of the parameter. And then if you have more than one parameter, you separate them with ampersand signs. So in this case, we are actually passing 3 parameters. V, which will equal 3, A, which will equal 2, and alt, which will equal true. So these are the values that we're going to be passing. Now that we have those set, let's go ahead and compile this and go over and see what changes need to be made to our other script. For Vegas to call our script, we have been using this line right here. But there are actually 4 different ways that it can be called. Here are the 4 different methods. So the first one, we just pass the Vegas variable. With the second version, it also passes us a script file. For the third one, we not only get the script file, but we also get an XML document that is the script settings. And then finally we have a 4th option that allows us to receive the script arguments, or it's called ScriptArgs, and it's an args variable. So we're going to use this last one this time. So we have to make the following change to our script. So here we are going to actually we make that change and change this line to accept all 4 pieces. Because we are using the arguments and we want to look at the arguments up above, we need to add the arguments as a variable here, so we put comma args there. Then in our main routine up here, we have to add the arguments here as well. Now we do have a problem in that this one has an XML document in it. We weren't accounting for XML documents in our usings before, so up here we also have to add using system.xml. So now that all that is there, let's look at how we can actually read the arguments. One way of doing that is just going through each of the arguments. So we do a for each, and then we're going to have a scriptarg variable. Notice this one is not plural, which is a single argument. And then we're going to get all of them that are in args. Then we're just going to simply display the name and the value of each argument that is available. Alternately, we can check to see if some argument exists. So here we're going to look to see, does V exist? And we can do that by going to script.args.exist and then look specifically for the V variable. Likewise, we can look to see what the value of any specific variable is. And so here we're looking to see what is the value of A. And to get that, we do script.args.valueof, and then we pass it the name A, and that will give us the argument A's value, if it exists. So you might want to check to see if it exists before you check to see if the value of it. So let's give this a test right here, exactly the way this is, and see what happens when we pass those 3 variables. So in Vegas, we have pulled up our new compiled version. We click on called script, and we see the value of V is 3, the value of A is 2, alt is true, does V exist? That is true. What is the value of A? That is 2. So that is all now working. But when we look down here, we saw that we had a couple of other things down here, so we might as well look to see what is in these. So here I'm going to add just a little extra code, and we're going to use a message box and just show what is scriptFile. What does that tell us? And then here we have the XML document script settings. So first thing I want to do is check to see is script settings equal to null. If it is, then there is no script settings file. Otherwise, let's display the inner text of that XML document. So let's save this and try again. So we call this, and now it is telling us that the script name that we actually called is script2call.cs, which is the name of the script we just called. There are no script settings, and then it's going to go through all of our other values again. So what if we wanted some script settings? To get script settings, we have to create a new file that is exactly the same name as our script file. So we have script2call.cs, so we name this script2call.cs, and then we add .config after it. That will create an XML configuration file that will be used by this script. So if we open this script2call.cs.config file, it's just a very simple XML file with a script settings section. In this particular case, it shows a display name which says sample script 1, and then a menu item name which says sample script number 1. That's and amp is an ampersand. And then an icon file would be sample script default.png. When used in one of the places that Vegas looks, it would actually use this information to be the display name and the menu item name that the script will use when it is run. And you can even define the icon file that is being used. So now that we know what is in that file, let's run this script again. It's properly named. So now we are running test script, script2call.cs. And then here we see our sample script 1, sample script and 1, and then sample script default.png. So those are the three text values that were listed inside that XML document. And then we get our other values once again. So passing values to a script can also be easily done. We just separate the different values by the ampersand, and that will let us pass multiple values to a script that can be used to determine how that script runs. And we've seen how we can read the values of each of the parameters that were passed. We've also seen how we can add a configuration file which will change how Vegas will look at that particular script, and also how we can actually read that file. Please sign up at www.JETDV.com and subscribe on YouTube to get further notifications on when new videos are presented.